Nice drink, Rob.
Thank you. Glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, so thanks for letting us come in to Lure Fishbar.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Here at the Loews, Miami Beach.
I work hand in hand with all the chefs, like our chef John Lutrella's here. I work hand in hand with him on a regular basis, whether it's getting seasonal fruit or different products, anything to use. And same thing with Connor handling at the Dutch.
So let's talk about the bar menu. This first drink, what do we have here?
Today you're drinking the full Mast. It's
Okay.
our fun play on a classic Manhattan. Classic cocktails are obviously huge. Being in South Florida, it's still kind of new down here. People tend to have more refreshing cocktails, so we want to do like a lighter version of a classic cocktail. When I was researching nautical terms and nautical names, I came across full Mast, and it was like, you know, they're ready, the ship's going, they're ready for war, they're ready for battle. So I actually thought of the name first, and I'm like, this has to be a boozy cocktail. What's more American than bourbon?
Yeah.
So I want to use a bourbon. I'm using a bourbon from Colorado. I want to add a little salinity to it, meaning that we're a seafood restaurant, we're on the ocean, so I used Oloroso Sherry. It adds a nice nuttiness and salinity to it. Benedictine, herbal, herbaceous, and then I always put something from New Jersey on my menu, so I'm using a Layered's Applejack
Nice.
to touch sweeten it up.
Well, this one is a great finish. It's kind of one of those drinks that, like you're saying, it's such a great craft cocktail too. And interesting choice on the sherry though.
Thank you.
Never had that one before.
Yeah.
What was the reason behind that?
Well, we first made it, and I tasted Oloroso in the past, and I just always remembered that salty flavor it leaves. So like the salinity.
Right, right.
And with the bourbon, because bourbon's, you know, a little bit sweeter than rye whiskey because it's made from corn, and then the herbal notes from the Benedictine, and then just a touch of sweetness from the Layered's Applejack. It keeps it light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. I mean, it's one of those drinks that normally has a little bit heavier feel to
Yeah,
it.
and then that lemon oils that we put on top
Perfect.
really makes it pop.
Yeah, this is great.
Glad you enjoy it. Cheers.
All right.
Articles of War.
So these are kind of the fun drinks that you get a chance to do with
Yeah, that's the
consulate.
great thing, that they're like, do what you want, just make sure they sell. So the Articles of War, I base this cocktail around the teas that are in the cocktail. So I'm using JoJo's chamomile tea from Miami, Florida.
Right.
And then also the Beefeater 24 has 2 teas added to it. So that was like my base of the cocktail. And then I needed a touch of sweetener, so I used Mandarin Napoleon, which is a Mandarin-based cognac liqueur, and Napoleon, War. I thought of the spice trade, so it was teas, and there's some fresh nutmeg on top.
Beautiful. That's a great one. That's really refreshing, but at the same time, it's not a typical refreshing drink where you get that high citrus content, super sugary type thing.
And that's the problem when you go to, especially in like tropical places like Miami and the weather, people want that refreshing cocktail.
Right.
But it's either A, it's too acidic, you have 2 and you have heartburn for the rest of the day.
Right.
Your vacation's ruined. Or it's too sweet and you wake up the next day with a crazy hangover. Well, the refreshing factor is that it's a beer cocktail.
Yeah.
So it's nice and clean, refreshing. We top it off with a clean lager. With the apple juice, really makes it clean and simple. And then the chamomile tea.
So what was the idea behind the chamomile tea? Why would you introduce something like that?
I wanted to use Beefeater 24. I'm a big fan of it because there's 2 teas added to the cocktail, and I wanted to do another play with tea.
It's not really, you don't get it in the foreground of the drink.
Yeah.
You kind of get it in the aftertaste, which is kind of an interesting finish on a drink like that. That's a great
And
one.
then there's some fresh nutmeg on top because everything needs a little spice.
I love it.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Oceanfront. So it's herbaceous, refreshing. The pineapple juice is fresh. We press it every day, so it's not canned. It's not that sweet. And we literally only put a 1/4 ounce of agave nectar in that whole cocktail, just to balance
So the
it out.
agave almost gives it like a little bit of a caramel taste.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great
You
selection.
got a great palate. The oceanfront, the reason behind the name is, look to your left.
Yeah.
You're on the oceanfront. It's clean, it's refreshing, pineapple, Chesapeake Bay bitters. Every time I think of Chesapeake Bay bitters, I think of Old Bay on shrimp, or clams on corn, clam bakes. Everything is related to the ocean.
Great selection of ingredients. You know, when you look at building out a bar menu like this, how hard is it, do you feel? Do you feel like this is something that's super challenging as you move? You've been at a lot of places. Do you take from some and kind of build off of it?
I mean, the biggest thing is to remember you're not making cocktails for yourself. You're making cocktails for guests.
Sure.
So if you look at my cocktail, I have a lychee cocktail. I personally don't like lychees at all.
Right.
But the Mast does. I mean, we're in Miami Beach. People are on vacation. They want fun, delicious cocktails. So instead of doing the standard margarita, this is our play on it.
That's a beautiful one. So when you look at, you know, kind of the evolution of where craft cocktail making is going, and of course here in Florida, we're starting to see a lot more introduction of that.
Yeah. Well, we have Homestead.
Yeah.
Which is like the best produce selection there is all year round. Yeah. You know, a lot of the rest of the country during the winter time, they go to brown spirits.
Right.
They stick with the brandies, the bourbons, the ryes, the aged tequilas. Here we don't really get that cold, so we're constantly using pineapple,
Great
watermelon,
fresh fruits.
mangoes, grapefruits, different types of lemons, different types of limes.
Rob, it's been great working with you here at Lure Fishbar today, and amazing naming conventions for these drinks and super cocktails. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Pleasure.